makes me weak. All you gotta do is just speak. One word is enough, and I'm no longer so rough. I forget what I was trying to say. I no longer do what I was gonna do, but you're no good for me. That's why me know what set me if it could flee. Me have to take away myself. Me have to take away myself. Me have to hide like a thief in the night. Me have to get out of sight. Me have to take away myself. I have to take away myself. I have to utilize my wings. Shorty, I cleave her heels. I said, yeah, I find you very hard to resist. With this relationship I'm gonna desist. But how can I face you when all I wanna do is just taste you? I know you think I play me, I play, but soon you're gonna see the light of day. Just relax, don't move an inch. I'll be gone in a pinch. May I feel take away myself. May I feel take away myself. May I feel hide like a thief in the night. May I feel get out of sight. May I feel take away myself. Take away myself. I have to utilize I breathe. Shorty, I a clean pair of heels. I said, yeah. Been there, done that, don't need it again, yeah. I'm not a masochist who won't play your game, yeah. To all you move, you off me way to the core. Sayonara, I got gone through the door. Take away ourselves. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Stand up, everybody, get up and take away ourselves. Take away ourselves. Everybody, get up and take away ourselves.
Greetings, kings and queens. Welcome to another Real Stuff podcast. And today, today is Tuesday. And they call it Freeze Monetary. Yes, they're appealing to black people to stay at home and don't spend no cash. Yes, I want to know that gonna happen. Because a lot of people love to spend money. So, let's see what happened. They call it dime and penny. That means you're not supposed to spend a dime. Not even a penny today. Tuesday, July the 7th. And that's the appeal going out. Also today we have two important guests. We have with us today Mr. Morris Greenidge, historian and author. And he will be appearing with me live and direct as usual, but today we will be doing it on a camera. So you'll be seeing my face maybe for the first time. And also we have Mr. Carlston Medford, who's a qualified NLP practitioner. We'll be linking up with Mr. Medford as well. And of course I have Flavius in Jamaica this morning, and he will be giving us, as always, the famous Did You Know? The music you hear in the background is none other than young songstress Tafina. So take some more.
May I fi take away me say. May I fi hide like a thief in the night. May I fi get out of sight. May I fi take away myself. Take away myself. I have to utilize I breathe. Show the eye a clean pair of heat. I say, been there, done that, don't need it again, yeah. I'm not a masochist who won't play your game, yeah. To all you move, you off me way to the core. Sayonara, hot girl gone through the door. Take away ourselves. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Stand up, somebody, and let me take me ourselves. Take me ourselves. Somebody, and let me take me ourselves. Yeah, yeah.
This is your very own sports, music, and lifestyle podcast with Flavius and Franco. Welcome.
This are our version.
Hey, I love me somewhere him. Hey, hey. I love me some him. I never love this way you can. I love me some you. And I'm a man who love you. I love me some him. I never love this way you can. I love me some you. And I'm a man who never do. All those days and lonely nights have all gone away. Never thought the day would come when we'd be more than friends. You made me smile when I was down. You turned my world around. The way you give me love feels so right. You took the ease off my mind and put it behind. You were there for all my needs, so baby stay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll never love this way again. I love me some you. Another man will never do. I love me some him. I'll never love this way again. I love me some you. Another man will never do. It's like a dream come true. I wish for you. Never been so happy now. I love so new. You opened my heart to a brand new start. My love's there wherever you are. I won't let no one take you away. You took the ease off my mind, put it behind. You were there, yes indeed. So baby stay. I'll some you. My love is way again. I love me some you. Another man will never do. I love me some man. I'll never love this way again. I love me some you. Another man will never do. Hey, 'cause you came along and changed my life. Told me things would be alright, and they were thanks to you. Now I have the strength to carry on in my heart. You got a home, and I don't think I want to be alone. I love you. I'll never love this way again. I'll always love you.
Yes, indeed. The beautiful voice of Miss Pam Hall. And as you know, every summer we do this. We call it 90 Days of Summer. And in my 90 Days of Summer, as I said, most of the music, 90% of the music will be from female reggae artists. So that's how we do it each and every summer. Reggae Nostalgia, internet radio, and forward it over onto the Real Stuff podcast. Getting ready to link up with Flavius via, we will call it this morning, camera. He will be appearing on camera this morning. So, waiting for Flavius. I'm going to give you some more music. Yes, music. Alone shall live, never shall die. As you know, the coronavirus is spreading like wildfire in Florida, Arizona, Texas, all over. But as Wayne Harman said, don't worry. Everything will be all right.
It's all right. It's all right. It's okay. Just hang on a little bit longer, 'cause tomorrow is another day. It's alright, it's okay. Just stand firm in the face of adversity and watch them fade away, away, away. Life of a way to carry you down when the money in the bank gets shorter and the bills are coming and you're caught in between the devil and the deep blue water. I know say that when you come home on your yard and the people them a look them sober. So you do what you can, 'cause a man is just a man and you don't make the people them sober. And you pray to the Father when this tribulation I go in, but remember Jonah in the belly of the whale and Daniel in the lion's den. It's alright, it's okay. Just hang on a little bit longer, 'cause tomorrow is another day. It's alright, it's okay. Just stand firm in the face of adversity and watch them fade away, away, away. I say time of a way to test your faith, so you got to have enough endurance. One day at a time, just keep on trying, 'cause time carry no insurance. No matter how the situation hard, things can only get better. Just have some faith, everything I go great, 'cause nothing never lasts forever. And you pray to the Father when this tribulation I go in, but remember Jonah in the belly of the whale and Daniel in the lion's den. It's alright, it's okay. Just hang on a little bit longer, 'cause tomorrow is another day. It's alright, it's okay. Just stand firm in the face of adversity and watch them fade away, 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 away. It's alright, it's okay. Just hang on a little bit longer, cause tomorrow is another day. It's alright, it's okay. Just stand firm in the face of adversity and watch them fade away.
Jah, all I'm asking for is a brighter day. Just send it our way, oh Jah. See ya. A brighter day. We're looking for a brighter day. A brighter day. Just send it come my way. Jah, why mankind so bitter? Turn them away from Lucifer. It's like some boy that drink devil soup for breakfast, lunch and dinner. It doesn't matter what the wicked say, the righteous will never run away. Oh, please, my car soldier, you are my kind of my protector. We're looking for a brighter day, a brighter day, a brighter day. Just send it come away. A brighter day. We're looking for a brighter day, a brighter day. Just send it come away. To them system design a lot of youth a suffer. No succumb to the pressure, so them not go for. No stop clap it up, now them a big time killer. And the same system melt them out like butter. Mama cry papa ball, but it can't get better. Lifeless body laid down all over, so we have to turn we face out to the Father. And ask him for a brighter day, a brighter day, a brighter day. Just send it come away. A brighter day. We're looking for a brighter day, a brighter day. Just send it come away. Them dirty system of fraud, oh Lord. We see clear down a yard and brag. How them a treat poor people like dog, why poor people life so hard? Oh, what a pity. Why so much homeless in a them city? Lord, what a calamity. You know, sister, this a world and not pretty. So we have seen for a brighter day, a brighter day, a brighter day. Just send it come away. A brighter day. We're looking for a brighter day, a brighter day. Just send it come away. A brighter day now. You're looking for a brighter day, brighter day, yeah. A brighter day now. A brighter day, brighter day, yeah. A brighter day, a brighter day, a brighter day, yeah.
Yes, indeed. We are looking for a brighter day. We sure can do well with some bright day. Want to let you know that today, yes, Tuesday, and they say it is the day that they're asking or they're imploring the black people not to go out and spend no money today. No money. Not even a dime, not even a penny. I'm going to be linking up with Flavius in a few. And then we're going to go straight into the Did You Know? And it's very interesting today. So that is something we're looking forward to, the Did You Know? And this one is from the artist, another artist from the east of Jamaica, out in St. Thomas. Eddie's quarantine. We're going back under quarantine, whether you like it or not. Let me tell you, South Florida, we're going back under quarantine.
Yo, 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 yo. Oh, yo, yo. Hey. The world. Yeah, man. Them put us on quarantine. So we see fit in a guaranteed. Them of us where they want us to be. Everything them say we agree. Them of us on quarantine. We see if it is not guaranteed. Them want we take the vaccine. Is it for COVID-19? Sight them from a distance. Them oppose them a shake and them want control population. Them have a plan in hand for the next generation. Have them station. The elders won't be here for too long. I know you want the cure, but yet you're gonna kill some more. You want your plan for work for sure. Them say, turn on your yard, knock on my door. Them put us on quarantine. So we see fit in a guaranteed. Them of us where they want us to be. Everything them say we agree. Them of us on quarantine. We see fit in a guaranteed. Them want we take the vaccine. Is it for COVID-19? Don't you be afraid, want you to prepare. Hold your social space, keep it clean your place. Mask over your face, wash your hand them straight. Rather be in space, around your son not safe.
Yes, I think we have Flavius with us. What's up, Flavius?
Morning, Franco. Morning. Good morning.
Talk to me.
It's a bit bleaky outside. But apart from that, yeah, everything is all right. We still don't see any rain.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's a bit bleaky. Probably the sun is somewhere there, somewhere there pushing out. Should come out in a little while.
True.
Yeah. So, good morning to our guests, all our listeners. And we have two nice guests today again.
Mm-hmm.
So we say good morning to everyone, all our listeners all over the globe. I hope you're maintaining your discipline and knowing that COVID is around the corner somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to just maintain our discipline and know that it's for our best interest.
Absolutely, we can do no better.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to just rush into Did You Know?
Mm-hmm.
And did you know this morning, very short, but I would imagine it's important.
Mm-hmm.
How many of you have been watching the political landscape in the Caribbean of recent times? If you have, you would have realized that, I think it was yesterday or the day before, the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago has called the general election for August 10, 2020. Now, you must remember that Jamaica and Trinidad like to do things together. They left the Caribbean Union, the West Indies, movement some years ago, very close together. And they got their independence from Britain in the same month.
Mm-hmm.
So people are wondering if Jamaica will call this election in August too, because rumors are out there that it will be called in August.
Mm-hmm.
And the opposition, People's National Party, is showing that they are in ready mode. They are ready. And a few little statistics here. The last time we had the election in Jamaica, Jamaica Labour Party took 32 seats of the 63 seats. So they were ahead by one. Not much of a margin at all. Now, the last time there was an election in Trinidad, the People's National Movement, headed by 3 of the 41 seats. Also very close. Very, very close. And the remaining 18 went to Kamal Bisesa People's Partnership. But so those are two close elections, Trinidad and Jamaica. And they are both having an election. Well, Trinidad is having an election in a month's time. But the Jamaica Prime Minister, Andrew Holness, keep pushing off people, keep saying, oh,
Flavius. Seems like we have lost Flavius there, so we're gonna play some more music and see if we can link back up with Flavius. Give some more quarantine.
Hey, the world, yeah. Them put us on quarantine, so we see fit in a guaranteed. Them of us where they want us to be. Everything them say we agree. Them of us on quarantine, we see fit in a guaranteed. Them want we take the vaccine. Is it for COVID-19? Sight them from a distance. Them oppose them a shake on them. Want control population. Them have a plan in hand for the next generation. Have them stationed. The elders won't be here for too long. I know you have the cure, but yet you're gonna kill some more. You want your plan for work for sure. Them say, turn on your yard, knock on my door. Them put us on quarantine, so we see fit in a guaranteed. Them of us where they want us to be. Everything them say we agree. Them of us on quarantine, we see fit in a guaranteed. Them want we take the vaccine. Is it for COVID-19? Don't you be afraid, want you to prepare. Hold your social space, keep it clean your place. Mask over your face, wash your hand them straight. Rather be in space, corona so not safe. And a nature illness, at them go business. Want some answers from the populace who invent this apocalypse. It's in the movies, but them next movies. And what the world gonna be? Them put us on quarantine, so we see fit in a guaranteed. Them of us where they want us to be. Everything them say we agree. Them of us on quarantine, we see fit in a guaranteed. Them want we take the vaccine. Is it for COVID-19? Sight them from a distance. Them oppose them a shake on them. Want control population. Them have a plan in hand for the next generation. Have them stationed. The elders won't be here for too long. I know you have the cure, but yet you're gonna kill some more. You want your plan for work for sure. Them say, turn on your yard, knock on my door.
Are you ready again, sir?
Yeah, man. Bring me in.
You're in.
I can go ahead?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Continue.
Okay. So what we were saying now is that the Jamaican and the Trinidad elections are very close elections in the last election that they had. And the Barbados election was 30 zip, no seat for the opposition or for the other party. The BLP won 30-1. Now we move to Grenada. And listen to this now, listen very carefully. Did you know that the Keith Mitchell-led New National Party won all 15 seats in Grenada in 1999, 2013, and again in 13th of March 2018. All seats in 3 successive elections. You really can call Grenada New National Party country. So that's a little bit about our politics for this morning. So Franco, that's it for Did You Know this morning.
All right. So in case you didn't know, now you know. Gonna give you some more music before I get into my festival song. So let me give you Audrey All. Yes, and then I give you a festival song and we link up with our guest this morning, Mr. Morris Greenidge.
Little notes making music in every song. Little notes making music sound of music that you hear, melodies blending in your ear is magic of a million years. Don't ask from whence this music came. I heard it ringing in my brain. It's magic of a million years. The dawn of time, saw man rehearse the music of the universe. It's magic of a million years. I can't live without it. I'm dancing and shouting this magic of a million years. If music be the food of love, if music be the food of love, through wars and bloodshed, guns and knives, this gift from heaven has survived this magic of a million years. Depression, mess what gets you down. Come on and listen to the sound of magic of a million years. Hey, relax your body now, unwind. Let music float into your mind. It's magic of a million years. I can't live without it. I'm dancing and shouting this magic of a million years. If music be the food of love, if music be the food of love. Through wars and bloodshed, guns and knives, this gift from heaven has survived this magic.
Well, we're getting ready to link up with our guest this morning, Mr. Maurice Greenidge. We're going to bring in Mr. Greenidge right now and get straight into business. Morning, Mr. Greenidge. Morning, Mr. Greenidge.
Morning, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Good morning to you.
How you doing, sir?
Very good. I'm good. Welcome to Barbados.
Yeah, welcome to Barbados. That's really good. I like that one. So, this morning, Flavius, let me bring you in. Are you here, Flavius? We have Mr. Greenidge.
I am not hearing at all.
You're not hearing anything?
Yeah, no, I'm hearing Flavius.
Yeah, Franco, I'm not. Oh, bring me in now. Yeah, please.
You're already in.
I'm hearing him.
Are you hearing me?
Yeah, he's hearing you.
I'm hearing you.
Morning, Morris. Not from Morris, no.
Morning to you, Flavius. How are you doing?
Your mic is open. All the mics.
Yeah, but I'm not hearing Morris. Okay.
Talking.
I don't know why. Okay, go ahead.
You're hearing now? You're hearing now? If he's hearing now, we can go.
Yeah, you're not hearing him, Flavius.
He's still not hearing?
Your mic is mute, because I have all the mics open.
Okay, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Barry. So you do.
I'm hearing too. One's hearing me.
It's probably my internet.
Flavius is
Flavius, you want to call us audio? Flavius, call us audio.
No.
Huh? All right, Maurice, you can go ahead now. He said you can go ahead.
I don't think he understood you. All right. So where do you want to go?
Tell you what, let me play another song and then we can talk after here. Okay?
You hear me, but I'm not hearing, so it's not a mic thing. I can call you.
Yeah, man.
On WhatsApp?
Yeah, call me
on WhatsApp.
Call me on WhatsApp.
Okay, I turned off the camera.
Okay, can you hear now? Talk now, Maurice. Let me see if he can hear you now.
Can you hear me? Well, Flavius says, hope he's not having a problem with his ears.
Okay.
If he is, then we can fix. We need to fix that.
Franco,
otherwise,
if I call you on WhatsApp, it will come in.
Yes, it will come in. Yes, it will come in. He's gonna call on WhatsApp.
Okay.
And then we can bring him in the conversation. Yeah, we can bring him in the conversation. What's the morning like over there, Maurice? What's the weather like in Barbados this morning?
It's we had some I call it beautiful weather because we had some showers during the night. We haven't had rain in Barbados for at least not substantial.
Okay.
So that was a little bit of a blessing. This morning the grass was actually wet.
Okay, we are Flavius by audio now.
Yeah, but I'm in now.
Okay, it was your internet problem then. Your
yeah, bandwidth. Yeah.
Okay, Maurice, you can go ahead now.
Okay, well, if we want to go back to 1948.
Okay. Go ahead.
You want to go back to 1948 when I first saw Everton Weeks. There's a lot of coincidences at Jamaica because that was the first, I think the only test match that the great George Headley was officially allowed to captain West Indies. And of course, he was the supreme cricketer of the era. The coincidence is that he was born in Panama. His father is a Headley from Barbados. My mother was born in Panama. Her mother was a Headley from Barbados. She was sent back to Barbados for her schooling because her mother died when she was a few days old. And then eventually George came back to West Indies, to Jamaica, to the land of his mothers. So my mother had a fascination with George Headley, whom she always saw, and until she died, she figured that they're cousins. But I'm not getting into that.
Okay.
That's a family affair.
All right.
She was insistent I go see this George Headley test match. And I was taken to this test match. And the star, of course, to see Master George, as he was called, walk out with his cap turned at a brilliant little angle. I'd spun the toss. And when West Indies batted, the star player for me was this little man from Kensington, from Pickwick Gap, next door to Kensington Oval, who hit the ball with tremendous power. But I was not particularly interested, even then, in his batting, but in his fielding. Everton Weeks, for me, could underarm the ball from the boundary right over the top of the stumps. I have never seen anybody else do it. He would take one step and with a flick of the wrist from the boundary, underarm the ball right over the stumps. That is the major thing I saw of him. And then later on, in the next time I saw him was in the Indian series versus Hazari's team. And I call him Hazari of the Flashing Blade. By then I was a big enough boy to go to cricket by myself. And we occupied something called the schoolboys stand. There were two schoolboys stands. If you had money, you went into the one which was inside the grounds. And if you didn't have money, you went into the one on St. Mary's Vicarage, and that was a coconut tree. You climbed up it. I always saved enough money to go into the stands. But if you were going into the coconut tree, you had to go early in the morning, and you had to do all of your ablutions and everything else, because you can't come down until play is finished, because the watchman might be looking. And the other thing is that you couldn't go to the toilet. And the bigger boys would go up in the top of the trees, and you would sometimes hear this admonition: "Don't look up. Otherwise, you would get bet when there was no rain." Let's put it that way. But Everton Weeks in that series, the major thing I saw of him was that Hazari, the Indian captain, we called him Hazari of the Flashing Blade. I've never seen anybody hook a ball or pull a ball like Hazari. He had an extra flourish. And somehow or other, when the Indians batted and flashes of stroke, you could actually see the light sort of evanescent coming off the bat, like a reflection of a light on a mirror. And Hazari was this flashing blade. And Ramadan is bowling, and Hazari is batting, and Ramadan and Everton Weeks in the field having a chat, big little chat. And then the next over, when Ramadan is going on to bowl Hazari, Weeks goes and picks up a position just to the left in front of the square leg umpire. And the very first ball that Ramadan bowls at Hazari, he flashes this blade. And this ball cannons down into Everton Weeks. He does not get it. Normally, you say the players are walking in, the fielders. Weeks did not move. He was in the crowd. And this ball flashed from the bat straight into his lap. I have never seen anything like it. Later in life, I had the great of sharing a commentator's booth with Sir Everton, as he was then. And I asked him about it. He didn't even remember. He said, "Oh, well, we would have worked out all these batsmen before." And I said, "But how come he didn't walk?" He said, "Well, he can't walk in because the man can hit the ball down. He's hitting down the ball." He said, "Like myself, Hazari usually hit the ball down. So he didn't hit a six. So he's hitting the ball down, and I am in a position where if he overhits it, it will go another foot or so, and it came straight to my lap. So I was just in the right place at the right time." For him, it was no big deal, but to me, it was a huge thing to see Hazari, because when Hazari got going, he was quite a master of the hook stroke. I see you just put up Master George.
Yeah.
The greatest of all. One of the things we remember about, and the two of them, and Master George and Everton, I think they were kindred spirits. Everton was not a secondary school boy, but he had all the nuances of language. You couldn't beat Everton for syntax. His grammar perfect, and they're young West Indian cricketers who will tell you that they would go to sit, especially as young players, next to Everton at dinner, and he would quietly just tell them, nudge them, not to use this fork, not to use that fork. And that's the sort of man he was. I mean, an all-around genuine human being.
He was a gentleman.
He was one of God's creatures. Yeah, gentle, in the sense of his humanity. But of course, to say it's stern. Now, the other thing that happened to me is as a 14, 15-year-old now at my secondary school, he's now appointed schools coach. He's coaching the secondary schools, and he is very strict to tell you what to do and what not to do. He said there are certain disciplines you have to inculcate if you want to be a good cricketer, and certain disciplines you have to inculcate if you want to be a great cricketer.
Okay.
And one of them, if you want to be a good cricketer, a batsman, is running between the wickets. He said, because if you don't run between the wickets, you can't make runs. And he says, when you're batting, I want to hear yes, no, or wait. I don't want to hear anything else. Yes, no, and wait. And one of my good friends, who was a very good batsman, by the way, the next ball he saw, he tickled it down leg side. He says, "Oh, come on, second, you see me though? That's sweet." And Everton asked him to take off the pads and cease practice that afternoon because you didn't hear what I said. So next week when you come back, you will repeat yes, no, and wait. And this is sort of discipline that he had, because you will remember that in his long test career of 40-something test matches, he hit one single six. And he said to me, if you hit along the ground, you can't get caught. Simple as that.
If you hit it along the ground, you can't.
And then, yeah, if you hit the ball along the ground, you can't get caught.
Yeah,
so he eliminated being out. Something else. And then later on, of course, until the last year of his life, we had the honor of, again, working together. There's a program here in Barbados called the Cigar Free Sober Schools International Cricket Tournament for under 19 boys from around the world. We've had teams here from Jamaica in the past 5 or 6 teams. And now we have a team coming from Canada, from Oakwood, and it usually has a couple of Jamaican boys. In fact, that team is run and coached by a Jamaican born Rupert Stevenson. So we still have a connection with Jamaica, but we have teams from South Africa, Australia. We had teams from Canada. We had teams from the United States, all over the Caribbean, except I think 1 or 2 islands who have never come. But so Everton, we were pleased to have him as our tournament referee until the last year, 2019. Up until 2018, he was tournament referee, and he would be overseeing matters of discipline and anything that came up that was controversial. He would iron it out and had a straightforward manner of looking at the game of cricket. And so we will miss him very, very much in this island. I'm sure he'll be missed throughout the Caribbean for, as I said, his cricketing prowess, but certainly more even, as far as I'm concerned, for his friendship and his humanity.
That's good. That's good. When was he knighted as Sir?
Oh, it's fairly late. I think it's sometime. He was the last of the 3 Ws to be knighted. Probably in the late 90s. I don't have an exact date for it, but he was the last of the 3 Ws to be knighted.
Okay.
Probably in the late 90s, but I don't have the exact date. I'll say this again that sorry.
So what's the most special innings that you have watched him play?
What's the most
special?
Repeat that for me.
What's the most special inning you have watched?
Special innings. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, I think it would have been probably that innings in the 1950s, 1953, 52, 53 with the Hazari team. We had a Subhash Gupti who was a mystery spinner. Don't forget we had Annie Ramadan who would confuse everybody in the world. And then they brought this Subhash Gupti up to the Caribbean. I think, generally speaking, when Weeks was finished with him, he didn't go back to India. So Weeks made a bundle of runs in 1953 in Barbados, in the Caribbean, in that first English visit to the Caribbean. And Gupti, I'm afraid, was one of his victims. It's not often that you talk about a bowler being a batsman's victims, but that was the case. because he made a lot of runs in that series.
Okay.
And I said to the that I don't know if that was the reason or if Gupta had other reasons, but he certainly did not go back to India.
Okay. Any special partnership with any of the other doubles?
Not in my sight, because remember that in the fragmented islands, we did not in the early days we did not travel a lot, so he made a lot of runs all over the Caribbean. When he left, for instance, after that 40 some odd here in Barbados in 1948, he was dropped. He played, I think, in Trinidad, and he was dropped for the next test. Then the great George Headley opted out of the last test match in that series, which was at Kingston, at Savannah Park, and at the last minute he opted out of the test match. He said because of injury. I hope it was, but Weeks was then summoned to come up to Jamaica to play in this match, and I remember him discussing it with me. He said he had to go through Barranquilla in Venezuela on the way to get to Jamaica. So quite a roundabout route. But anyhow, he got there and the match was in progress. Meanwhile, the Jamaicans were not happy with the decision to bring this young man from Barbados, when I think it was Ken Rickards was doing rather well, and they wanted Rickards to play. So when Weeks came onto the field to play, he was booed. The Jamaican spectators booed him all the way out to the field, and that's when he made the first of 5 consecutive test centuries. And when he got to his century, and when he got out, they lifted him off the field in triumph. So in that one innings, he had become a darling of the Jamaicans. And then, of course, he went on to India. Let me say a little bit about that Indian tour. He goes to India, and he scores a century every time he walks out to bat. I'll be talking about every innings he goes out to bat, he scores a century. And then in the 5th innings, which would have made 6 centuries in a row because he'd made 1 in Jamaica the last test match. The 6th innings, Clyde Walcott, in an interview which I did with Clyde Walcott in the 1980s, Clyde Walcott said he was home early enough to look back and see Everton past the stumps when his stumps were hit. Not past the crease, but past the stumps. He says he was home by a mile and a half when they gave him out. They just want to get rid of him.
Mm-hmm.
But listen, what we do not remember is this. If he had not been given out, the next innings he scored a century as well. He got given out at 90.
Mm-hmm.
He would have gone on to score his sixth innings, and then the next innings he scored a century. So there would have been 7 innings in a row, 7 consecutive innings in 1949 that this young man would have set. That, I mean, the 5 has stood the test of time from 1950. That's 70 years, 71 years.
Yeah.
I don't know what 7 will do, if anybody will ever get to 7, but just think about it. Instead of celebrating 5, we will be celebrating 7.
How many times was he immortal?
That's a good question. I don't dive into mortality, but he was certainly a great player. And I've seen very little of George Headley. I did have the honor of sitting with him in 1978 when West Indies cricket was 50 years old. He was brought to Barbados by the West Indies board for that reunion at Kensington Oval. It was the 50th anniversary of West Indies Test cricket, 28 to 78. And I sat with him for, maybe 2 or 3 hours. And we talked. We talked like family. We talked a little bit about cricket, but we talked about family, and I was impressed with George Headley, and I said to him, I am so sorry that they had to take you back to Jamaica rather than bring you back where you belong in Barbados. And he laughed. He had a good laugh. He was a pleasant man. But then I remembered seeing George Carew, who was a West Indies opener who they said scored a century in singles, not in the test match, but he was one of our members at my club at Maple in Old Town. And George Carew showed me how difficult it was to get George Headley out. He said George Headley on a wet wicket was just as if he was batting on a dry wicket. It made no difference. He tucked the bat under his right leg and kept bat and pad so close together you could not tell the difference. So you couldn't get him like before. And he's always watching the ball onto the bat. And then I saw Everton and realized that Everton had people think of Everton as a swashbuckling batsman. But then when you see Everton in the moments of defense, just like Gary Sobert, you realize how utterly impregnable of a defense they had. Everton had a very solid defense, and he was a compact man, a small man. But he was certainly a very good player. The fact that in India, in the earliest days, India did not have devastating fast bowlers, but they had an immaculate array of spin bowlers. If you think of the same Gupti, then you had Abbas, you had all sorts of players. But then later on, you had people like Bedi and Chandrasekhar, but they produced their spinners to suit the wickets that they had. And if he could go to India, spinners wickets, and score 4 test match hundreds, 5 and a 90 in consecutive innings, you understand the sort of genius that you're dealing with.
Oh yes, oh yes.
That's true. I don't think I've ever seen any of those doubles back because I was too young to take them in.
You're too young, but you're living in the wrong age. I told Flavia that we had the best of times in seeing Worrell and Walker. By the way, they lived within a mile of each other. The three of them, they were raised. You could throw a stone if you were strong enough from Weeks' house. His house. Weeks and Walcott lived within a short sprint. I described it as within a short sprint, less than 400 yards apart.
Okay.
So from Walcott's house at the size to Worrell's house was about another 800 yards. So they were less than a mile apart. The three of them, and born 18 months of each other. Fantastic. I would say a fantastic piece of fate to produce these three young men of three different families, 3 different temperaments. And one of the things I wanted to recall, Flavius, is that strangely enough, Walcott, who kept wicket to Ramadan, who was a mysterious bowler, never kept wicket for Barbados. You realize that?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
He was not a Barbados wicket keeper. He was went straight to the top.
Yeah, straight, yeah. But how did that happen though?
I don't know. I think he probably kept wicket at school at Harrison College. Remember that between Weeks, Worrell and Walcott, and another young man called Roy Marshall, the three of them put on some stupid partnerships that you wouldn't think of them now. Worrell and Goddard put on, I think, a 500-run partnership when Worrell was still a schoolboy, Barbados versus Trinidad in Trinidad. Worrell and Walcott put on, I think, a 600-run partnership when both of them were still schoolboys playing for Barbados against Trinidad. I think Worrell and Weeks put on a similar partnership later on for Barbados, and of course, and in Test cricket, they put on a 300-run partnership in England in the 1950 tournament. And then Roy Marshall and John Goddard, that's another player that we don't remember. But Roy Marshall and John Goddard. Roy was probably of the three as a schoolboy batsman. Roy Marshall was to the manor born. His father was a plantation owner or manager. Went to school at Lodge, but he and Jeffrey Stoudemire just did not make it. He did not make the West Indies team in 1950. He was on the squad, and I think somehow that he topped the averages in the first class season that year. Came back home, and I think he played a couple of matches for West Indies. But the moment that Jeffrey Stoudemire became captain, he decided this was it for him, and he decided to play his cricket in England. So he went and joined Hampshire, and he and Barry Richards formed an interminable partnership for Hampshire until Marshall retired, and then Gordon Greenidge joined Barry Richards as the Hampshire opening batsman, and the two of them had another enduring partnership. But this all goes back to the 1940s, late 40s, with Weeks, Roy Walcott, and Roy Marshall in Barbados as schoolboy players of a magnificent caliber. Okay.
Yeah, this is wonderful. This history is wonderful, man, because a lot of these young people don't know anything about these things.
Repeat that for me.
No, I'm saying
you're breaking up slightly.
The history is very enlightening because most of these young people do not know anything about this.
Well, there's a fair amount written on Everton. I can tell you what a book. Well, there is apart from Norman Manley, your Michael Manley. I beg your pardon. Your Michael Manley's book on West Indies cricket is a superb book. Second only to CLR James Beyond a Boundary. But then here in Barbados, King and Peter Lorre, who was a diplomat. Tony King was a schoolboy cricketer of some note, little note. And actually, Tony King, in 1960, Tony King was still a schoolboy playing for the Barbados Colts, which Everton Weeks then captained. Everton went down and captained the Barbados Colts, and these were nearly all schoolboy players. And Tony King scored, I think, 100 in that match, and Everton scored 100 in that match. And Tony King, of course, would never have forgotten that. But in fact, Tony King and Everton would have played for the same Empire Club. And Tony and Peter Lorre have written a book. What was it called? The Glory Days. Book called The Glory Days, in which they delineate the best 25 West Indian players, and it starts, of course, back in the days of Challenger before Test cricket even came in for West Indies, down to the present, down to the last years with people like Phil Wallace and those. But of course, Weeks, the story of Weeks is told in that book. But I rather like Michael Manley's book. And every young player who wants to play serious cricket, whilst he is still in third form at school, should take a copy of that book from the library, if you can't buy one, and read it from cover to cover. That's a very important book, which Michael Manley wrote. The second edition was, I think, completed by Donna Simmons, whom I had the honor as sports editor at BBC Radio in 1980s to her as the first female commentator in cricket broadcasting.
Yeah. I actually met her once, yeah.
Brilliant girl. She's now devoting herself to her law practice, but she got her start as a cricket commentator. So I know we have about 5 or 6 women doing cricket commentary.
She no longer
again. She would have been.
Is she still
No,
doing?
she no longer does commentary.
Okay.
No, she stopped. She's decided to concentrate on her law practice.
Okay.
But again, it's a small place in Barbados. She's part of the Empire Cricket Club.
Mm-hmm.
If you know Empire is a proletarian club. Empire is a club of the working people of Barbados. When Herman Griffith, who was Headley's contemporary in the first Test match in 1928, I believe, when he tried as a Commonwealth secondary school student and the best athlete in Barbados at the time, when he tried to get into Spartan Club, which was the non-white club at the time, they didn't want him because he was not a Harrison College boy. And so a few of the other Spartan players went, and with him formed the Empire Club, and it was opened on Empire Day, which I think is May 24th in 1914. That's when Empire started. And so a lot of people from the region would have joined that club. Herman Griffith would have been the founder, and Algie Simmons, who was Donald Simmons' father, they were all from Bank Hall. So all the Bank Hall people would have formed that club. So we're talking cricket and we're talking sociology. We're talking about the class prejudices that and the color prejudices that existed in Barbados all throughout the years. And now we're seeing this Black Lives Matter asking a lot of questions of us, and I believe that answers. We have a lot of answers to give. But cricket is one of the things. I don't know if you saw, but this morning's paper, young Carlos Brathwaite is questioning how come there are, and Gladstone Small, who played for England, also went to school at Colmere. They are both questioning how come in England, in 18 counties, there are only 12 black boys playing cricket. When
that's a small number.
They would double the number. So things are happening.
A small number. That.
Yeah, people are questioning the reasons.
They're doing
football is going the other.
They're doing it like the U.S. Country Club.
You find it. That's right. Yeah. So I hope I have helped you understand a little bit about Everton.
Yeah, it looks like this race thing is coming up more powerful than before.
Yeah, because it's all
questions asked. People are asking questions. People were content to see things happen, but now I think maybe it is one of the blessings of COVID-19. When you push someone too far, expect a retort.
Yeah.
And if you push him to the brink and he either has two choices of jumping or hitting back, he's going to hit back. And that is exactly what COVID has done. There was nowhere to go in COVID. Everybody is cooped up. And then you're suddenly seeing these acts of violence perpetrated, and it started a whole slew and a stream of protests, which will continue until something happens. We went through this in the Caribbean in the 1936, 37, 38 era. With a series of riots. Since then, it hasn't happened.
It was bigger.
But we came out of that period. We came out of that period with a different philosophy of how to treat working people. But now we're looking at, that was the evidence of pure race then. But now we're looking at worldwide, we're looking at race and class here in the Caribbean. Because in the Caribbean now we've passed most of the race problem, but now we still have the class issues to deal with.
And that has been here for so long, and people, it's just stayed with us. The class thing just stayed with us. You know, it's not seemingly to go away
But
anytime soon.
class is the other race. Don't forget, if you were raised in an English colony, you had to understand what divide and conquer means.
Yeah.
The only way I can conquer you is to divide you, and that has been part of our history.
Oh yes. Oh yes. And it has worked. It has worked tremendously because
Oh
black
yeah,
seem
not
not
for,
to get together. People want to be together.
it hasn't worked for us. It has worked
Yeah, so much doubt, so much
because up
fear.
to now we yeah. But the word is doubt. If you sow enough seeds of doubt, you will divide.
Of
And
course.
if you divide, then you will win, because um you see it happen all over. And sometimes we don't understand what is happening around us, and we don't stop to think. I just saw an alarming thing yesterday in the papers that Kanye West, for instance, is going to be running in the next elections for the United States president. Now, whose votes are are going to be divided so that he will get some? Ask
Yeah.
yourself that question. Divide and conquer. And he's the man who's already said a couple of years ago that I like Trump. There you go. But in the Caribbean,
Yeah.
we've had we've had we've had 400 years of divide. But luckily, cricket has been one of the glues that has kept the um, community, if I can use that word loosely, together. It has
Yeah.
brought together white. I'm not writing a book on Holders Hill cricket, which I hope will be published later this year. And that
Okay.
book is a little bit, it is looking at players, because Holders Hill is a community that is produced from Claremont de Pisa, Albert Padmore, Desmond Haynes, Philo Wallace, a whole bunch of, and two youngsters who are now in England, Raymond Reefer and Shamar Brooks. A
Okay.
whole bundle of Franklin Stevenson. Keep naming them. I believe it's a mile of tar road that has produced more first class cricketers per capita than anywhere else in the world. So we're celebrating that with a book. Hopefully, I can finish it this year and get it out. But when you see where these people have come from, and realize that 100 years ago that would never have been possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then you suddenly you had some of the patrons of cricket making sure that, for instance, George Francis, who was on the first West Indies team in 1920, 28, I beg your pardon. George Francis was a, a young man from St. James, but he was rolling the pitch at Pickwick, and the patrons, Tim Charlton and those, said this man is good enough to bowl at us in the nets, and we're a good batsman. He's good enough to bowl at anybody else in the world, and so he
Okay.
got to play for West Indies.
Okay.
But at home, before then he would not have been noticed. So somebody had to put their hand. This needs to happen. And that is what needs to happen now. People need to put their hands up when they see things going wrong. Everton Weeks, for instance, Everton was a 13, 14-year-old boy living in the shadow of Kensington Oval, and going into Kensington Oval and seeing players, but having to play for the BCL team called Westshire. When he was 17 years old, he joined the regiment. And that is where he got his start, playing for the Barbados Regiment. in a team called St. Anne's. But he started in the BCL in the lower ranks. By 1948, he was playing for West Indies, the first Barbadian player to play for the first Barbadian BCL player to play for West Indies. So he has a huge amount of divots in history against his name, and that was one of the first one. First non-patriotic club to play club member to play for Barbados. 1948. The BCL was founded immediately after the riots of 1937, and as a workmen's cricket league, and he would have come out of that first, and so the others followed. The Pisa, Frank King, Ralph Legal, who played for Guyana, Sir Gary Sobers later, Simon Nurse, Sylvester Clark, Franklin Stevenson, who had the worst break of all. He's one that went to South Africa, and like your Richard Austin and Gilbert Stein were never forgiven. He never got a West Indies player, even though at the time he was the best all rounder in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
It's a strange world. But we celebrate Sir Everton as a great human being, apart from the fact that he was a great cricketer. And I feel very almost special to have been able to walk in his steps. You know, the great Tom Clark, who was an author and politician in Canada, and Tom was one of my teachers in secondary school. Tom says that Everton taught a whole generation of Barbadian boys to walk with toes turned in like Navajo Indians. So I remembered growing up, you'd be like Everton Weeks or Frank Worrell. You chose a name. Somebody was George Headley in my district. And once you're playing cricket, you chose a name. And Tom Clark put it really eloquently. He says he taught a whole generation to walk with pigeon toes like a Navajo Indian because he walked with his toes turned in. That's the way his feet were. And if you saw David Murray, same way he walked. Although David was a little bit more gangly than Everton.
Yeah.
But David, his son, was a little ganglier, but great human being. Wonderful man. And I'm happy that he lived as long as he did. He was sick for just about a year. And I visited him this last year. Took him a book because he loved reading and he loved his jazz records, loved jazz. He had a lovely piano in his house. He was a man of the world. Excellent man. I could say this, when I grow up, I want to be like him.
Oh, yeah.
Want to be like him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Maurice, thank you very much for this. But you know that you need to come on as Maurice Greenidge at your earliest convenience. I know that you are very, very busy now, but at your earliest convenience, sit and chat with us for probably about 2 or 3 programs. And you have enough to talk about for many programs.
The song says, "Que sera, sera." It will happen.
Yes, it will happen, Maurice.
I look forward to it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Whatever will be, will be.
And I promise you, I have 2 books for you. I have 2 books. When this one on Oldesville is finished, I'll send you a copy of that. I'll send you a copy of the Bridgetown you ever got.
Yes.
You had the whole time. You were here for the whole time when we launched that. So I have to send you Bridgetown and this new book, Oldesville, The Amazing Cricket Nursery. Hopefully that will be out this year. We want it to be out in 2020.
Okay.
So thanks for having me, and I hope I fulfilled your desires for commentary on Sir Everton.
Thank you very much,
No, we are
Morris.
very, very happy to be able to do this, and to have you speak about it because I know you spend a lot of time with the three W's, You are a perfect person. I was so glad these days.
The pleasure has been mine, and even more pleasure because of the subject, who is one of my favorite people of all time. He and Sagari, by the way, you know that Sagari and I are pretty close. And he and Sagari, I didn't even say this during the program, but he really befriended a lot of young players quite easily and quietly. He was not a man for fanfare. I, I think I heard Sagari mention to me sometime years ago that Everton was one that you could go to and talk to, ask a question, or sometimes he would come to you and tell you if you were not quite right. But so he was a man for people to help them wherever he could. Even though he was such a brilliant person, he was not above the fray. He would come and talk with you and guide you around and show you around. And he was that way with cricket. And as we shared the commentators booth in later years, um, certainly a human being of great proportions. Barbados and the Caribbean will miss him. But of course, the legacy that he has left us will keep us going, I think, for another couple of generations. Just like George Headley. Nobody will ever forget him. Unforgettable. Hear that he's a Headley born in Colon, Panama.
Yes.
So we thank you very much, Mr. Morris, sir, for coming here and spreading some wisdom on the great late Sir Everton week.
It has been
It's
wonderful.
been my pleasure. I
And
thoroughly enjoyed being with you.
we look forward to see you when your books are ready to release. You link us up.
Yeah,
We can have a fan.
certainly will.
We can have a fan here with it as well.
Yeah, we can. We can
Thanks.
speak about the book when you launch. We can come back and we do a soft launch on the program. Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, whatever will happen, yes, we'll be happy, yes.
Absolutely, man.
So I look forward to the program. All the best. Hope you will continue doing what you're doing and have great success at it.
Yeah, we thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
yeah, we are really working at it. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
All right then, Mr. Morris.
Okay, yeah, man.
Thank you very much.
Oh, Flavius.
Yes, sir.
We're going to be linking up in a few with Mr. What's his name? Mr. Medford. Mr. Medford. Yes. Let me bring in some more
So
music.
can we switch back to WhatsApp now?
Well, I'm on WhatsApp. I never was on WhatsApp. He's going to come in on WhatsApp. No problem.
Yeah, because probably need to do a little more work, or I need to get a better thing because I was struggling to hear. Even when I went to WhatsApp,
let me play some music. I mean, you can talk. All right.
Well,
We're coming in with Empress Omilani, Shooting Star, going out to all my listeners.
I'm a shooting star like my name was Galaxy. Act like you know me, I'm your greatest fantasy. Like an asteroid, I'm out of this world. I dance on Jupiter, yeah, I'm your sexy girl. And we lighting up the sky tonight I am your shooting star. Whoa, I'm your shooting star. I'm your shooting star. Whoa, I'm your shooting star. I do the moonwalk while you on cloud nine. Speed up my orbit, yeah. Boy, I don't waste no time. I'm your Venus flytrap. Capture you and hold you tight, for you just picture that. And we lighten up the sky tonight, tonight. And we lighten up the sky tonight, tonight. I am your shooting star. Whoa, I'm your shooting star. Yeah, I'm your shooting star. Whoa, I'm your shooting star. I'm your shooting star, and I'm taking aim on you. I'm feeling weightless now. My feet don't touch the ground. I am your shooting star. Whoa, I'm your shooting star. Yeah, I'm your shooting star. Whoa, I'm your shooting star. I'm a shooting star, like my name was Galaxy. Act like you know me, I'm your greatest fantasy. Like an asteroid, I'm out of this world. I dance on Jupiter, yeah, I'm your spacey girl. And we lighten up the sky tonight, tonight. And we lighten up the sky tonight, tonight. I am your shooting star. Whoa, I'm your shooting star. Yeah, I'm your shooting star. Whoa, I'm your shooting star. I am your shooting star. Whoa, I'm your shooting star. Yeah, I'm your shooting star. Whoa, I'm your shooting star.
Walking on sand and holding your hand. Feel like a tourist in my own homeland. In my own homeland. Enjoying the bright, the warm sunlight. Oh my God, what a beautiful sight. In my own homeland. This place is so nice, wanna do everything twice. Yes, I feel as if I'm in a paradise. No matter the season, you've got every reason. This place is another little heaven. East or west, I couldn't care less. Ooh, this place, it is definitely best. My own homeland. North or south, feel free to wander about. You can jump, dance, or sing and shout.
And the music you hear in the background here is none other than the beautiful voice of Miss Pam Hall. Getting ready to bring in our next guest, Mr. Carlston Medford, a qualified NLP practitioner who works with clients by assisting them to resolve emotional issues such as anxiety and depression. He has been practicing his craft for the past 2 years, and during that time has also dealt with people experiencing phobias and personal conflict. Carlston is very passionate about the work he does, as he too had to deal with the struggles of mental health within his own family and as well as himself. He is presently developing courses to help others understand why they behave the way they do and how to help themselves. Ladies and gentlemen, kings and queens, let's welcome Mr. Medford. How you doing,
Hey,
my
good
brother?
afternoon.
Good
I'm
afternoon.
terrific. How are you doing?
Great, man. Great. Just, staying alive by staying indoors.
Good. I definitely understand that for you.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
it's all yours. The floor is all yours, sir.
Okay, let me just start by mentioning that first thing first, to all the audience that are listening, thank you all for tuning in as well. And I hope I slow my accent down so you do understand what I'm saying. Sometimes I can get a bit carried away, very passionate for what you're talking about. You just mentioned just now, just as a little passenger, you stay safe by staying inside,
Uh-huh.
right? And recently, I know, come across a few people being isolated and doing that same thing, keeping themselves, safe by staying inside.
Mm-hmm.
They find that it was hard to adjust. A lot of people, you see, when you change your routine,
Mm-hmm.
it's not easy because it's a pattern of behavior that is more or less ingrained in your unconsciousness. You know, when you get up every morning, you know what you normally do. No one has to tell you, oh, it's time to brush your teeth. So you brush your teeth, you get your breakfast ready, you get ready, you go to work. And that is your daily routine. It is more such a program that you don't even think about doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So what a lot of people have realized over the last few months being isolated and being restricted from movement is that your daily routine now has changed. And at first, there is a tendency of an unpleasant feeling because remember, it's not what you're used to.
Yeah.
And what we don't always realize is that when we create a pattern of behavior, our body recognizes this is what I have to do. So your brain doesn't have to tell your body how to feel or what to do.
Mm-hmm.
So now by listening, you're actually calling into question how you feel
Mm-hmm.
because it's uncomfortable. Now, for those people that believe that they have, and I use the word believe
Mm-hmm.
because from this perspective, that's what they experience anxiety and depression. This can also trigger those emotions, those feelings. Um, my personal view, and those that are listening to this program that will say, I have depression or I have anxiety, I try to identify and recognize that and show from a different point of view. It is not, I tell people, you don't have it. If you can't put it in your pocket or you can't put it in a wheelbarrow, then you don't have it.
Mm-hmm.
What you do is you experience it.
Okay.
You see, when you talk about depression and anxiety, in fact, let me ask you this question. When you hear a person say, I have anxiety or I have depression, what comes to mind?
I have anxiety and depression. To me, they're agitated.
Yeah, what?
They're easy to get what you call it upset or things like that.
Yeah, right. So you're looking at the assumption would be a negative emotional reaction, correct?
Yeah.
Correct. Good. Now, because the first thing for me is I try to identify what people's perception of that word is. There's no sense in me telling you what it is to me when it may be something totally different to you. So for me working with you, I have to understand when I say that word, what is the representation in your mind that you have of that word?
Okay.
Because if you believe that it controls your behavior, then it will control your behavior.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I get you.
Are you with me?
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah. But when I get you to question your belief and to change the belief of that word, then it loses that authority or that power over you. Because why? You've changed your perception of what it really means to you.
Okay.
So if you can change your perception, guess what? You can also change your reaction to it, which eventually means that you can change your behavior. Do you follow me so far?
Yeah, I'm following you.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Because the idea is to break it down, and this is what I do across the board with anyone with any problem. You first got to identify what really is the problem. Because we tell ourselves a story, or I am too scared, I'm not good enough, I can't learn this. We tell ourselves a story of who we are, and then we choose to believe that story. And once you believe that story, then your unconscious mind will do everything to confirm that story to you. Yeah, ask the question.
What about like a person who find themselves like say I'm gonna use the crisis happening now.
Yes.
Small business. A person who have a small business and the last couple of months they had was to close. They had workers that they had was to send home because they are not making no money. And now
Correct.
they're trying to open up, but they can't open up back because guess what? They're over their head in bills. And even if they open now, they're not going to make no money because they just don't have a staff, to bring in. And that person get depressed. But they weren't somebody who was easily to find themselves in a depressive mode. Could that person say have a more, what do I call it? What word am I looking for? His reaction or he or she reaction could lead them. Could lead them to do dangerous. Yeah, could lead them to do dangerous things.
Listen, anything can lead a person to do a dangerous thing if you believe that doing that particular thing is the only option you have available to you. Now, let me go to the worst situation. Let me go to the worst situation or worst scenario, right? A person that goes through financial difficulty, have lost the business. In their mind, they believe that there's nothing that they can do. There's nothing, it will not get better. And they can make a decision to decide. And we've all heard of cases similar to this here. I don't talk about it really because it seems to be something that people don't like to talk about, but I can mention it here. A person will have a thought of committing suicide because why? Ending everything in their mind is easier than to deal with what they have to deal with, right? Now, we have a natural, or part of our brain, if you've heard anybody mention what we call the limbic brain. That part determines, or that part deals with your natural survival. Our brain is designed to keep us safe. It's not designed to make us happy. It's designed to keep us safe. It's designed to make us survive. It's our natural instinct. We inherit that instinct from generations of between our species, right? So we basically, from caveman time to hunter-gatherers, keeping safe, keeping secure has always been one of our most priority. Even up now, keeping safe is our priority. So for you to override that program and actually hurt yourself intentionally, that pain point that you're at has to be more or greater than your need to survival. You understand that?
Yeah.
So for a person to get to that particular point, it means that they believe there is no other option.
No solution whatsoever.
Correct.
So what would be the best recommendation, or
that's what I'm going to get at now.
Okay.
So the first thing I would have to talk with that person and say, okay, no, I will never say I know how you feel because each of us will go through similar situations. Each of us will have a unique feeling. But I would ask questions. If you believe that there's no other way option, let me examine other people. Let me look for other people that have been through the similar as well, lost businesses, as well as rise again, right? Now, if they were able to do it, do you think there's a possibility that you also can do it? So what I'm actually doing now, I'm introducing possibility. Because before, the reason for thinking the way you did or reacting that way or going on that way is because you do not see possibility. So what I do is help create and show you there is possibility. Once your brain has options, you'll choose the best one suited to you. So the first thing is to get the person to realize, let me look at case studies. Let me look at other business people that have that we see as successful. And when you go into them stories, you'll find that a lot of successful people have been bankrupt twice, 3 times even. So, and that person, if you see as successful, we don't realize that person is going through a particular journey. So when we compare your journey to that person's journey, it's no different. So if that person can succeed, you can also succeed. The next question is, how did they succeed? What did they do? Who did they turn to? That is why. That is when where you say, okay, good. The first thing to realize, as we mentioned, is it is possible. The next question is, how do we do it?
Mm-hmm.
So that's when we start to search for role models. We start to search for mentors. We start to search for case studies. That is using facts.
Okay.
Right? Once you have facts, okay, then I also will help you deal with the emotional part of it, because we are also we are factual as well as emotional. We need to have evidence, but we also have an internal dialogue. We have internal feeling.
Okay. So the first thing you do is show them possibility.
Correct.
Okay.
Because remember, where they are, the first thing is, I don't see a way out of this. So let me give you an analogy. Imagine if you are in, say, a big tank of water, and it has a lid on top of it. You don't know where to go. You don't know how to get out. You're just in this tank. You can probably imagine yourself panicking and feeling, anxious, and am I going to drown? Right?
Sure.
But if you see someone open a door or a window at the end of that time, and you can see light, and you can see this is a way out. Once you realize that there is a way out, your mood, your attitude, everything changes, because why? There's possibility. You understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
So it doesn't make a difference that you're in a tight position, because you realize there's a way forward, there's a way out of it.
So
which means that it's only temporary.
You'd also have them exercise to remain calm.
Exercise is a good way to remain calm as well, and I'll explain why. I like to explain why, because people will tell you do this and do that, unless you understand the explanation or the science behind it. Right? When you're anxious, your body is full of testosterone. Right?
Yeah.
Your body, or you're in fight or flight mode, what we call sympathetic nervous system. When you're angry, when you're nervous, when you're scared, your body vibrates, it shakes, your mouth gets, your saliva glands start from working, because why? Your energy is going to your external extremities, because it is getting ready to either do three things: freeze, fight, or flight.
I was just coming to that one, the freeze part.
Correct.
How would you deal with the person who get frozen?
Exactly. So that is what we do. That is how our system is developed. Like I said, our limbic brain it has evolved to keep us safe. So you can either be freeze in the intent that if you're freezing, you do nothing and keep still, you won't be seen. Right? You fight because you defend yourself, or you think you have a chance of getting away. You flight means you run away. That is our main defense.
Yeah.
So when that happens, your body then goes through heightened state of, that's not awareness, but adrenaline. Right? At the end of it, imagine when a lion is chasing a gazelle, and all the other gazelles running, he catch that one. When the other gazelles get to the stage and they realize we are no longer in a threat, it takes a while, then they go back eating grass. Because why? They go back to what you call homeostasis. They go back into a relaxed.
Okay.
So by exercising, what you're doing, you're burning that energy. And you're telling your body, good, now I'm exhausted, there's no more threat. You understand? You understand the connection, what I explain the way I do.
I see all right. The reason why I'm asking you these questions, because I've been around a lot of people who, some panic, some freeze, some take drinking. Some people, they figure if they run away from the problem, then it will solve, some other way. And you have some people, some become, homeless. Because they, being homeless for some of them, they're not coming back to the reality of say, owning anything no more. They don't, they don't responsible for nothing. They don't belong to the world of responsibility no more.
Because they tell themselves that story. The story them tell themselves is, I will never get this back, so why even try?
Okay.
Yeah.
We tell ourselves stories every day to make our reality acceptable.
You're right.
Now, I'm not going to tell anyone, well, that is the wrong story for you. That is your story. You choose. Right? Only you can make a decision, because even if I come and give you, say, the recipe for a cake, there's nothing saying that you actually have to mix it. So if I come and tell you, you can do this, do A, B, and C, there's nothing saying you have to do it.
I have a friend, whenever I would say problems, well, actually two friends. One, when problems hit her what do you call it? Her not blood pressure, her diabetes goes up. You
Okay.
understand me? And the other one,
Okay. Yeah.
Sugar
yeah,
rises, yeah.
when his pressure hit him, you know, he go into that freeze mode, and it's scary. I'm telling you, really
Okay.
scary, because it's coming like
I
it's one of the
understand.
hardest thing to get them out. Get him
Okay.
out.
No, the thing with your friend that when her diabetes is affected, what a lot of people don't realize is that our thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
our thoughts have a frequency. Oh, our body has electrical charge to it,
Yeah.
right? Okay. Our body, our thoughts have a frequency, is also part of it, has electrical charge to it as well. When your thoughts are of a frequency that is low, or like say, we're thinking about things rather than figure how to solve them. But if your mind is in turmoil,
Mm-hmm.
your body also reacts in turmoil. Let me explain your brain. Imagine looking at the brain as we know it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine the brain is divided into three different sections. The front part, which you will call the frontal lobe or neocortex. The middle part you call the limbic, and the behind, behind your head, that back part,
Mm-hmm.
your cerebral cortex. Well, imagine that the front part generates your thoughts, and it can generate good thoughts, it can generate bad thoughts, it can generate thoughts that make you feel positive and energetic. It can generate thoughts that make you feel lower and depressed and down and low in energy. The middle part of your brain translates the thoughts into emotion, chemical impulses,
Mm-hmm.
right? No, sorry, emotions. I said emotions. The third part will turn those emotions into chemical impulses and translate that into your body, which allows your body to move, and we call that your behavior. So you can either feel excited and very energetic and full of energy, that's your behavior, or you can feel very lethargic, tired, that's still your behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Based on your thoughts. Your thoughts generate an emotion, which generate a response.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're thinking about your problems and all you're doing is generating thinking about problems, your body then create more cortisol.
Mm-hmm.
Cortisol is that drug that will make you feel a bit down and depressed. But what it also does, because along with cortisol, your body will produce adrenaline. Because remember, your sympathetic nervous system is going into fight and flight mode. But imagine trying to accelerate on a gas in a car and still holding the handbrake up. You just get a lot of fuel spin, but it's not going anywhere. You're not burning it, correct?
Yeah, that's true.
Well, right. So your body now will convert that cortisol as well as that adrenaline into inflammation.
Mm-hmm.
So you find that when a person thinks on and worries so much about problems, you find that their health also is affected, because you're sending the signal to your body, or I'm in my sympathetic nervous system, I'm in fight or flight mode. So your body generating cortisol is generating adrenaline, getting ready, but really truly you're not using it. So guess what? That build up in your body, and it becomes toxic to your body.
Yeah.
So then it affected everything else in your body. And one of the major things that is affected in our system, and where a lot of disease start in our system, is in our gut.
You know what gut?
Our gut, our stomach.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you think about the when a person
get the gut feeling.
Exactly. So when you start to feel problems and stuff, what happens? You also feel this, as you said, this feeling in your gut, and affects their diabetes. Because I'll tell you another thing that happens as well. I've been talking about this recently. When we worry and we stress about something, stress produces the stress hormone in your body actually reduces your immune system ability to fight everything. It suppresses your immune system.
Okay.
And just to explain how effective stress hormones are, if anyone is going to go say have a organ transplant, you are injected with stress hormones to reduce your immune system so that your body doesn't reject the organ.
Okay.
This is, check with a medical doctor.
I never know that.
That is how, just check it. This is something you can check medically, right? I always try to tell people stuff that they can go and research. Don't just take what I'm saying because you're not sure. Always double check for yourself. You can check with a medical doctor. Stress reduces your ability to defend your body, your immune system to defend your body. So when you stress about things, is when you find that people pick up a cold more. You imagine a person going to work regular, or you might even realize this with yourself in the past. You're pushing yourself and you're running up and down, you're not resting, you're not eating properly, and you've got so much things on your mind and you're trying to get so much things done, you feel you're under pressure, and then you all have a cold. You all feel tired and run down.
Them have the flu. They just get a flu like that.
Because, right. So it's down to our perception, how we deal with situations. Our thoughts can affect our physical body.
Let me ask you something, Carlston. All right.
Yes, ask me anything.
For instance, there's this other person who they don't get, what you call it, caught up into the problems around them. They know it's there.
Yeah.
They identify that it's there, and they're figuring out solutions, but they don't get depressed. They're just like a carefree. People say, boy, you're carefree, and it coming like the whole house are burned down, and you're acting like you're not in danger. But they know they're in danger, But they just have to just say, you know what? If I fall low, then I know I might not come back up, or things might not work out. And they might is it that person, what do you call it, denying that they're being depressed, or they're having a problem? Are they denying
Not
it?
necessarily. Not necessarily. It's hard for me to would say. Let me ask a few questions. Is that person actually doing something about the problem?
Yes, they're doing it, but it's not working.
Well, it means that when it's not working, it means I will call that feedback. It means I did something, it didn't work. I know what not to do next. But what that person is trying to do, or my assumption, is that person is trying to keep themselves calm, relax, and focus on moving forward. Yeah. Now, it doesn't mean that they don't feel bad. It just means that they're not allowing the emotion to lead them to take charge. Right? Because we are so used to thinking, if I was in your situation, this is how I would react. So because the person is not reacting in accordance to how you think they should react based on your own values, you think that they're in denial. But my question was, is that person taking action? Because if the person is cool and calm, but doing nothing about it, then I might say they may be in denial, they're not facing it, they're not doing something. But if the person is doing something, then they realize, I know I have to do something, but I cannot operate or think when I'm being emotional. Right? So they would have done something, it may not work. That's just feedback. It let me know, you know what, don't do this again. This doesn't give me the results I'm looking for, so I got to do something different.
I feel you.
Yeah?
Yeah, I get you right there with that one. No, because reason why I ask, because I know people like that. I'm like that too at times. And it's not that I'm laid back. My friends would say, boy, it's coming like you retire early in life because you're just laid back.
This is what I tell people. This is how I learn to do things myself. This is my question to myself. If I'm going to worry about it, is that going to solve the problem?
No, exactly.
Do I want the problem solved? Yes or no?
Yes.
Because if I don't solve it, it's going to remain there. Do I want it to stay where it is? Yes or no? I ask myself these yes or no questions. We all have this. I believe everyone has an internal dialogue. You have a voice that talks to you. I have about 3 or 4 different voices that talk to me.
Yeah.
Because I tell everyone, I'm just as normal. I've just spent more time paying attention to myself and learning what works and what doesn't work.
True.
So when something happens, the first voice that happens in my head, I call him the idiot. That's the person that reacts. He's reactive. Somebody beep a horn at you and you want to have a go at them. That's that person. Right? You walk in. And then there's another voice that will question, what are you reacting so far? Have you not, I get very logical. And I have an emotional person, emotional voice. Like I said, it is all one voice, but I put it in sections so I know exactly what's happening to me. And I learned to do this with myself before I even learned to recognize it in people. But when you stress, because like I said, feeling bad is not always a bad thing. It means you care. It means that if you do something and you don't feel bad, it comes out wrong or comes up bad, and you don't have a negative reaction or not a negative reaction. I try to change these words to an unproductive reaction and a productive reaction.
All right.
Right? If you do not look at it and feel bad and try to do it better, it means where is your standard? What standard have you set for yourself? Because if you can do something, it doesn't come out well, it doesn't bother you, you have to ask yourself, where is your standard for this? Do I want it to be better, or am I okay with it being like this?
Okay.
Right?
It
Only you can do that.
The administration of medicine for depression. Why is it, administered? Is it necessary?
No, I cannot answer you that one. I'll explain to you why. I am not a physician. I am not a medical trained doctor.
Okay.
So I might have my opinion, but for anyone listening to this, I would recommend see your GP, see your doctor. Me personally knows that every drug, all right, drugs that are administered for people with depression, basically are synthetic reproduction of the drugs we already produce in our body. Good. Now you'll find that in antidepressants, you'll find things like dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, right? Those chemicals that our body needs, what we call feel-good chemicals. And basically, like dopamine, if you do something for yourself, you do a good deal, so you get yourself what we call a pat on the back, your brain produces dopamine, right? Right. If you do things and you exercise, right, your body produces oxytocin. If you do something and you're helping other people, your body produces serotonin. All of these are the things that you produce by your behavior, by your action. Right? So you don't need, my thing is, we don't always need drugs, but because medical doctors don't, their authority is to produce drugs. They don't, or you might find a doctor will say, you know what, I recommend you take some time off and you do some exercises and you do some stuff.
You really find those doctors. But you got to remember, they are trained and I'm ready for write up a prescription for you, because that's their job. Their job is based on medicine. Their job is based on that part of science. Their job, if they were into reflexology and hypnotherapy and yoga and stuff, then they would not be a medical doctor. They'd be a different practitioner. So we turn to medical doctors because we only know about medicine. We only think that medicine can cure these things, but there are also a lot of alternatives that you can try. Now, some people, because of whatever condition, it may be, I call it a quick fix. Because even if basically what it does, it just alters your state of being, of how you feel. Does it cure the problem? I don't think it does. Does it change the problem that's causing the problem? Because you can treat the symptoms, but at the core of the problem, if you don't treat the problem, the symptoms will reoccur. And if you keep using medicine to control the symptoms, guess what? Declare a penalty. So you replace one problem with another. That's as I personally see it. That's only my opinion. I respect your opinion. Because I believe in what you just said, about the administration of drugs, knowing that our body, produce all of these, based on the different.
There is nothing. In fact, let me bring something to your attention. Before a drug is put on the market, it has to be tested. One of those tests is what we call a placebo test. In other words, you are given drugs, some of the what is manufactured, and then some is just a simple sugar pill, right?
A simple what?
Now, sugar pill. That's why it's a placebo. Yeah. You do not know if it is a tablet or not, because this is what they know. This is what pharmaceutical companies are aware of. If you tell a person this pill will help you, and you enthuse about it, and you show them, we've got the science to prove this will help you, a person will take that pill. And at times, you will find that person get much better. That person will not feel pain, whatever the case is. And that's because that person has such a belief that this drug is going to help. Their body will naturally produce the drugs needed to feel better.
Okay.
Right? This is something that you can check in medical journals. You can check as well as research online. Just type in placebo effect, and you'll find it will explain to you. All pharmaceutical companies, when they're doing drugs, they have to do, I think, 2 or 3 different ones. But you have to do a placebo effect to figure out if the drug really works. All right.
A physiotherapist told me that once, what you just mentioned,
Yeah.
the sugar pill. And,
correct.
These
and studies, you'll be amazed.
Think you cure yourself, so you believe
exactly
helping you.
Because exactly, and a lot of people, in many cases, the amount of people that have cured themselves because of the mere thought that the drug is working, right? So there is evidence, there is proof out there. No, these are things that are not going to be publicized or not, because what if everything's publicized, saying how are they going to make the millions selling the drug? But that's my opinion.
Company, yeah. True.
Right, that's my views as a personal thing. Let me add that on as well as my one disclaimer. But I know, how many times have you been ill and gone into work feeling ill, feeling crap, but then you're talking with friends, you're having a laugh and a joke, and before you realize it, you feel better without even knowing that you feel better. Because your mind then focused on something totally different.
Yeah.
Because if you focus on being ill, exactly where you focus is where your energy goes.
So you need a positive energy. Come back to energy again, Flavius. The energy.
Yeah, it's down to energy. You see, we look at life as matter. Everything is about material stuff. I have a thinking that we are all about energy. We are down to our atoms. Every cell, our nucleus in each cell is down to energy.
Oh my God.
And if you learn, you ever walk in a room of around people and all of a sudden you just feel real enlightened, you can laugh and joke. And then there's some people you go around and you feel as though something is just draining the life from you.
Yeah.
Or in a room full of people and nothing is happening and one person just walk in.
It makes a difference.
And everything just change.
Everything light.
Energy, it is down to energy.
Yes.
You see, energy has a frequency as well, right? Our thoughts have a frequency. When you start thinking about possibilities, or something happens, and the idea comes to you how to fix it, how you can resolve this problem. How do you feel in your body? Think about it. If you remember anything, how do you feel? You get up and you feel so relaxed, you feel excited, you feel bubbly. Your energy level's just gone up, right? But when you look at something and you don't see a solution to it, then how do you feel?
You just make my day. You know that, because yesterday our guest made my day, and today you come and you push it to another level again, because you come again with some positive reasoning.
I'm glad I could help.
Yeah, because if you notice what's going on in the world right now, the pandemic, and people who underline, condition, we have to run for cover. You understand me? Because up to this morning again, the statistics show say, people who underline with underlying condition, them can get the virus and them just drop out like fly. And then I show you certain demographic, and race. Hispanic and African American or black, whichever way they want to put it. So it keep you more to stay away from this thing, because them say to flying at the year now, it can go at 18 feet. You understand me? So I know a long time say it's a year-born thing, but these guys not telling us. Them not spray the atmosphere to see if it really, because them know them put something up there, so them not do nothing to clean it up. You understand me? Them know them do something. Them not do nothing to clean it up.
The funny thing is that since March, and we had lockdown more or less worldwide, right? We restrict our movement, we restrict traveling, we restrict businesses, we restrict flights, we restrict a lot of things. And you would notice that the earth itself started to change, started to heal.
Yeah.
You would have had in places like Venice, where everybody used gondolas on the water and stuff, and it's all murky. No one was using traveling. It cleared up. Fish actually returned.
Dolphin come out.
A lot of animals
come out and all them things there. Birds are walk free.
Exactly.
Even lions.
The ozone layer repaired itself.
They come out of them hiding. Yes, because mankind, mankind was being so selfish, taking up the earth space. we provide for those what them call it, endangered species, and mankind just hack it up and
when we focus on
building.
ourselves, right? Imagine this: when we focus on ourselves, what are we doing to not only our physical body but our energy in our body as well as what are we doing? When we stop and took time to quarantine ourselves, a lot of people spend more time with family. At first, like I said, it was uncomfortable. It was very uncomfortable because it was change.
Yeah.
Change is not a familiar way of feeling because why? It is new. Nothing we do for the first is our familiar.
Yeah.
It has to become familiar with repetition.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
Right.
we then spend more. Yeah, we slow down. We spend more time with our family, and I can tell about me personally. I found that one, I wasn't working. I wasn't really having a lot of business coming in. But guess what? I wasn't struggling as I thought I would. I thought it would be very difficult, but no, it wasn't. I went home running and exercising more than I did before. I spend more time. I did homeschool with my two little kids. I spent more time with them, had more fun. The quality of life I had did not go down. In actually fact, it actually went up.
You know what happened to me? Some friends who I never talked to for years, them just come out of the woodwork and them find me. You understand? Because them find another friend who would say, oh yeah. So I link up back with friends from about 35, 40 years ago. Link up back.
People had more. People took their time and used it well. People took their time and actually realized life is not all about getting up early, running fast, and going to sleep on it. It's actually about enjoying the moment.
And
so we actually had to slow down in order to see the world around.
And as you said, time, we're going to have to cut you short because I know know we book you based on your time, and it's a short time, but you come with so much knowledge, you know. And
thank you. I'm glad I could contribute to your program.
Well, we're going to bring you back, you know, because we know this depression thing, a lot of people going to be affected, even more so because the
affected now.
Yeah, the reopening a certain states and places and businesses, and it have to close back down because them say it's on the rise again, especially in my state.
Yes,
I know. Say
it's all over.
Getting you back on the program, you know, can maybe calm a lot of nerves and make people realize.
Listen, once we can organize the time that affects both of us, and listen, I will always find time. Once I because we are in two different places and how the world is working, we are in two different time frames, but we can work it out. We did it now, we can do it again.
Yeah, man. I'm glad we're going to send you another link whenever you can. Just make us know, and then we just make the space for you because we're going to work off of your time, you know.
Okay,
we're going to work off of your time. All right.
Great.
So thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you all so much. Thank you, no problem, my friend.
Yeah.
Take care, fellas. Listen, you all have a fantastic day. All right.
And you too. And be safe. Okay. One love.
Okay then. Okay. One love. Bye.
Yeah. Well, Flavius, it's that time for us to get out a year. You know, today I must say, boy, some people at the first they must have my face on camera. I'm still hide it because we're falling asleep yet.
Yeah.
I still need to recover because I was up all night, you know, doing a lot of work. Work catch up on me, so you know it go. I have to get things done. So before we get out of here, you want to just drop your two cents?
Well, it has been a very good day. I was very happy to have my friend Morris come and speak about Sir Everton. You know, our little tribute. You know what we can do. I'm sure a lot of people will be doing a lot more. You know, to recognize the contribution to life that he has made to the West Indies, the Caribbean, and the Barbados. So I'm very, very happy that we were able to do that.
You know,
then go ahead.
One of the things when I heard him talking about the cricket and the way how it was structured back then, and the players, with those centuries, inning after inning, 100, 100. And
Yep.
he was able to when I research it, document it in such a way. It bring me back to the question: football, is football in the Caribbean documented like this?
No, we see he's very special, He does everything like that.
Mhm.
So I can ask him if he has anything with football like that. He
Yeah.
probably does
Mhm.
because he keeps everything. He keeps every single thing.
We need to
You
know
know.
about Caribbean football, the growth, you know, the rise and fall of it
He,
right now. We need to know about it.
he, he has a book about the church and the choirs. He has one about the fire department,
Uh-huh.
everything Barbados. He has a walking tour that he does, and it's like you walking in history. He's walking on the streets and telling you who lived there, that, whatever.
True,
He's
true.
just like that. He's just very special, very very special.
All
With a
right.
lot of knowledge, and he's sharing it with everybody.
Mhm.
He's creating these books and sharing it so
That's good.
everybody can read. Yeah,
That's good.
man,
That's good.
really,
That's good.
really, really fantastic.
Okay. So
Yeah.
it's time for us to get out of here. So my people, take care of yourself, because we know something is out there. Some lion out there, some tiger, some bear, you know,
Okay.
out there. And them don't want to tell me what it
Ready
is.
to
But
grab you. Yeah.
we know people getting, sicker and sicker by the numbers. The numbers keep going up. The only good thing,
Oh yeah.
the death toll is not there. Like in the first,
Before. Yeah.
first
Yeah.
4 months ago. But
Yeah.
all me I tell yourself, just exercise social distancing and make sure that if you do go on the road, you have your mask because it's important. From what I saw this morning on the
Mm-hmm.
news, and I'm going by the news. Even some people are saying, "Boy, I can't believe the news." I'm going by the news. People are sitting at tables, and all they do is just sneeze, and this thing fly 18 feet because that person was infected, and 9 people inside that restaurant got the
Mm.
infection. They're even saying that people come in your house, or you come from outside and come inside, and this thing gone in your AC unit. Because most of these people who are going home with it are people on the front line, people who are testing other people to see if them have, the virus, and they're taking it home with them, even though they're taking the necessary precaution, but they're still taking it home with them. But all we got to do is just be careful. So as always, I
Yeah.
say, prayer do changes things regardless of what religion you belong to. You must pray and continue to pray. Flavius, your 2 cents, and then we get out of here.
Well, as always, we say the problem with the world and the opening, reopening, and all that is it will work and it can work if we ex- exercise discipline. If we know what is happening and we have the discipline to deal with the protocols, then we should be all right. And when I say discipline, you have to think of everybody out there, not only yourself. And you also have to think about your family. You don't want to take home anything for them. So be disciplined. You wear your mask, sanitize. And the advice I have, which I try to do myself, is to keep your home sterile.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get off the road, you follow the protocols and take a shower and wash your clothes and all that. So when you reach home, you don't have to worry about the mask, and you don't have to worry about excessive hand washing or whatever, because everything in your home is how it should be. So you can relax. With the tension, the stress, you can leave that outside. The same way, take off your clothes and you take a shower, get rid of the stress at that time too, because you don't have to be worrying. You're home with your family and everybody do the same thing and the right thing. Then it's like you're operating before COVID came. In your home, you got to get your home that way. So you take all the precautions when you go out, and when you come home, you know you're okay. So have a nice rest of the day, and we'll be back tomorrow. And tomorrow we're touching on a very interesting topic. And Franco, the whole energy thing started on Monday.
Yeah, with the water.
Came back today, and tomorrow the gentleman will be speaking about energy also.
All right, we saw I can carry.
Yeah, because the Reiki method of healing and wellness is about energy.
All right.
Because what I'm hearing is that the Reiki is like a part of reflexology, but reflexology requires touch. But the Reiki uses the reflexology points and uses energy.
Okay.
To what is to be administered.
So our guest tomorrow is what's his name?
Mr. Smith, Oral Smith.
All right. So tomorrow you can tune in.
He's a Reiki practitioner.
You can tune in tomorrow and listen to Mr. Smith and make sure you like, subscribe, share, and click the bell.
Yes.
So
and of course Thursday is back to England with Don, our man on the ground.
Till next time. Bless.
So
and Friday from
till next time. Bless.
You don't want to finish up?
No, man, you go on Friday. What we having on Friday?
On Friday we have engineer by the name of Ninja.
Okay.
Will be here on Friday. We tell you more about it because I'm going to put out the flyer with the 3 days.
Okay.
The 3 days coming up.
Yeah.
So
wonderful.
Take care of yourself. You love one and always. Remember, be safe. Tafina to take us out.
Well, unfortunately, this is it. Till next time. Bless.
Makes me weak. All you gotta do is just speak. One word is enough, and I'm no longer so rough. I forget what I was trying to say. I no longer do what I was gonna do, but you're no good for me. That's why me know what's that me if it could flee. Me I fi take away me say. Me I fi take away me say. Me I fi hide like a thief in the night. Me I fi get out of sight. Me I fi take away myself. I fi take away myself. I have to utilize I weeds. Shorty I leave her right. I said, yeah, I find you very hard to resist. With this relationship I'm gonna desist. But how can I face you when all I wanna do is just taste you? I know you think I play me, I play. But soon you're gonna see the light of day. Just relax, don't move an inch. I'll be gone in a pinch. May I feel take away myself. May I feel take away myself. May I feel high like a thief in the night. May I feel get out of sight. May I feel take away myself. Take away myself. I have to utilize I breathe. Shorty, I keen berries. I say, yeah. Been there, done that, don't need it again, yeah. I'm not the master kiss who won't play your game, yeah. To all you move, you off me way to the core. Sayonara, I got gone through the door. Take away ourselves. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Stand up, everybody, get up and take away ourselves. Take away ourselves. Everybody, get up and take away ourselves.
Well, unfortunately, this is it. Till next time. Bless.